I believe he's the light middleweight move up to super middleweight. So I think the strength will be a big factor in this fight.
How big a job does he face, turning from challenging away from home to defending a title on home territory? Here he is getting ready to go in the dressing room.
I think the nerves will be on it tonight. Obviously, you want to be really impressive tonight in his first defence. I think it's a good opportunity for him. I think this opponent suits him to the ground. I think he's a come-forward fighter. I don't think he'll have too much trouble. I think, like I said, he's a bigger man than his opponent, and I see him stopping this guy, maybe the middle rounds, later rounds.
Barry, what are you expecting tonight?
Very similar to Joe's analysis of the fight. This guy has been hand-picked for him. He's a tailor-made opponent in that he comes forward. He'll walk on to Reid's beautiful jab, and it's a chance for him to really show his skills here. Reid is a really, a strong guy, uses his jab well, and is a powerful, big, strong guy. We see him here against Vincenzo Nardiello when he won the title. Body shots were good on this occasion too. Didn't often throw body shots, but whipped in a couple of nice, strong shots to the body. Weakness is that he's a wee bit, straight up and does the same thing on a fairly repetitive basis. And he's a relatively inexperienced fighter, having won the world title, so he's a lot of development to do as he goes along. Pretorius, on the other hand, never weighed any more than 11 stone 6 now. Now he's up 7 pounds for the super middleweight.
Good knockout record, as we saw there, Barry.
Yes, but that, remember, was at light middleweight, not at middleweight. So, bear that in mind. We see him here, a good pressure fighter, not a particularly concussive puncher, but wear him down, knock him out style, stays on top of you. Defence is not great. And, I would say that this will be a tailor-made opponent for Reid.
Joe, when we spoke to Robin Reid during the week, he had agreed with us. He said, I have plenty to learn about being a world-class performer. Yeah, you identify with that?
He's got plenty to learn, obviously. It comes sudden for him to go for this world title fight. At the end of the day, he's got to learn fast, because people like myself is coming around the corner, and you want to be on form when he fights me, because I'm going to take his title at the end of the day.
Well, that's all in the future, Joe. Tonight, here we are at the London Arena, and we saw them all piling in a few minutes ago, and it's getting very full now in here. And just in time as well, because the first of our 4 world title fights is coming right after this break. Robin Reid against Giovanni Pretorius for the WBC World Super Middleweight title on the night of the champions. Time for the action to commence here on the night of the champions at the London Arena. 6 months ago, Robin Reid was a young hopeful. Tonight, he makes his first defence of the WBC World Super Middleweight title. Giovanni Pretorius from South Africa is the opponent. Unbeaten, unknown over here. Sky commentary team Glenn McCrory and Ian Dark, after our Master of Ceremonies, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we present the WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Prepare to welcome the boxers as they make their way to the ring. First, we present the challenger, introducing Giovanni Pretorius.
Well, here is Giovanni Pretorius, unbeaten from South Africa and with the reputation of being a big puncher. And I've been around the camp this week, and I tell you, they really strongly fancy their man to dethrone Britain's Robin Reid here. He's got an identical record to Reid of 22 wins, no defeats and 1 draw, but he's got more knockouts on his record. But you heard the key point being made in the build-up to this one, that before this he's always been a light middleweight and a middleweight. Indeed, he's ranked number 7 in the world at middleweight by the WBC. Not sure how much to read into that. Both he and Robin Reid have a feeling that between them they might produce the fight of the night, Glenn.
It could be a very good fight. It's a good clash of styles. You've got Reid. I think Reid will like the fact that Pretorius will come to him Reid's a good puncher. He's he's a stronger man. You've got to give him the edge. He's just been a little better quality. He did better as an amateur. But Pretorius, I talked to the camp, they are very, very confident. They think Reid is overestimated. They think they can do it. They think they can get the title.
This South African, I tell you, will not stop coming forward.
And now making his way to the ring, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the defending WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Robin Reid.
And Reid has it with the body punch again. Well, I tell you, Robin Reid has never had a build-up like this. The fighter with the film star looks brings the WBC title home from Italy for his first defense. He really did shoot from zero to hero that night in Milan. Now he has to prove, Glenn, that he belongs in the big league.
Yes, he does. It was a very big step from an 8-round fighter to a world champion. He made it in one little move. So now he's got to prove that he belongs up there, and it wasn't just a flash victory or anything. That the victory over Nardiello, which was very good. He went to Italy and he really grasped the title off Nardiello. That was a very good result. Now he's got to prove he belongs in this class.
Used to be a Ladbrokes cashier, Robin Reid, and I can tell you he's got some money on himself to win this fight inside 7 rounds tonight. Very pleasant individual, Robin Reid. Comes from a big family. And his mum was tearful and speechless the night he became champion. He really does look extremely hyped up. There's the tail of the tape. They're both the same age. Pretorius just a little bit taller. Reid with a ½ a pound weight advantage, but Pretorius has never been within half a stone of being this heavy before. There we are. The total number of fights and record is absolutely identical. Very, very similar records indeed. Just the slightly higher knockout percentage there for Giovanni Pretorius, the young man from Terfontaine, which is where they have the racetrack in Johannesburg. The rules, WBC rules tonight for this one, mandatory 8 count. There's no 3 knockdown rule, that's the main thing here, and the bell can save a fighter only in the last round. The WBC super middleweight title used to be held by Nigel Benn. Robin Reid defends it tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. We welcome you to the London Arena for the first of our 4 World Championship boxing matches coming away tonight. Of course, it's all brought to you by Frank Warren's Sports Network in association with Don King Productions and sponsored by Adidas, ART, and The Sun. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council. The president is Jose Sulaiman. Co-supervisors at ringside, John Morris and Peter Nagatani. Along with the British Boxing Board of Control, the steward in charge is John Clifford. Introducing to you our judges, scoring this bout from ringside, we have Pacamile Jacobs, John Keane, and Helacio Perez. Introducing to you our referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions. Working in this his 72nd world title fight, Lou Filippo. All right, fans, here we go with the WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing blue and white trunks, and joining us from Johannesburg, South Africa. He weighed in at 11 stone, 12 pounds, or already 166 US pounds. His record includes 22 wins, no losses, 1 draw, with 19 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight making the first attempt at a world title, please welcome the challenger, Giovanni No Mercy Pretorius. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim, originally from Runcorn in the north of England, now fighting out of Manchester. He weighed in 11 stone, 12 and a half pounds, or 167 and 1/2 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, with a record of 22 wins, no losses, 1 draw, he has 17 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight making the first defense of his title, here is the undefeated WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, known as the Grim Reaper, Robin Reid. Once again, our referee in charge, Lou Filippo, now to give instructions.
Okay, Giovanni, Reid, you both had your instructions. Give me a good fight. Shake hands, back.
Well, the long a week of waiting is almost over. Fantastic atmosphere in here now. All the seats are full. 12,500. The clergyman's son from South Africa, Giovanni Pretorius, who's won his last 13 fights by stoppage, challenging Britain's Robin Reid, who'll be in the solid white trunks on that far side. Away we go, 12 rounds for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship. And Reid gets him with a heavy right hand early on. He'll be determined to make Pretorius feel the weight of punch of a full-blown super middleweight.
Pretorius is the sort of fighter who'll be right there for Reid. Already
he's rocked him with the right hand. Pretorius is in trouble early on. Reid is going here for the quick finish. Big left hook. Oh, he's got him all over the place. Pretorius is badly dazed. Another uppercut. And again, he's wobbled. He might not get through this first round. I don't know how he stayed on his feet. And the referee is taking a very close look at him already, Giovanni Pretorius. Well, it's a sensationally aggressive start from Robin Reid. And he's got him again with the left and the right. You just can't take these punches from a big 12-stone man. First time he's been in this league, and Reid is letting him know all about it and how. And Pretorius at last comes forward himself and starts to try bravely to force Reid back.
A terrific start from Reid, and I don't know how Pretorius has took those punches, some solid punches.
Another one's got him, this time to the body. Pretorius at last goes down. Counts at 8, he's up at 8, very unsteady on his legs. And there's a long time still left in this round. Less than even money that Pretorius gets through this, I think. Very accurate. And a real devil about his work here, Robin Reid. Again, some body punches. He's really setting himself for these to get maximum power, and Pretorius's defense is extremely leaky.
But Pretorius is showing tremendous courage, but he's really taken too many punches here.
Well, Reid is aiming to prove here that when he won the world title in Italy against Nardiello, it was no fluke. The only danger for Reid is that he doesn't get careless about this man who proved he is a puncher one weight down at middleweight.
Well, already Pretorius has shown that he's a hard guy who's come to fight. He's took some terrific blows from Reid, and he's still pushing forward.
And he lands a very good left hand there, and I think Reid was hurt by that. Well, what an opening round. What a start to the night of World Championship Boxing at the London Arena this is. Only Pretorius knows how he got through that. But Reid himself, in fairness to the South African, had to take some heavy shots towards the end of the round, Glenn.
He really did. Reid got caught with a few at the end, but Pretorius, how he stood up from that. He looked on numerous occasions. He really showed tremendous bravery, but what a terrific start from Reid. Heavy punches, really dipping his knees, trying to get everything into every blow.
Brian Hughes from the Collyhurst gym over there with Robin Reid. They've been together all the way through. Here's the knockdown, Glenn.
Yes, Reid just started so well. He landed with a good left hook there. You see, just the legs really just almost a bit disobeyed him. He followed up again with very strong punches.
Well, you remember last night we had a drink with one of Robin Reid's closest friends, and he told us he might try to do something like that in the opening round, didn't he?
Yes, he said that Reid was very, very up for this fight. He thinks he's got a lot of doubters, and he wants to prove all these people wrong, that he is for real.
Well, has Pretorius got over the effects of that first round, which was a torrid one for him, his first ever world title fight? The danger, of course, for Robin Reid is that he punches himself out. I wonder if he just might settle down to his boxing a wee bit more here. Again, a big left hook. There's no defense there at times from Pretorius. And he is heavy-handed, Reid.
Pretorius is a real attacking fighter. Very little defense, but just keeps on coming forward.
Yes, he just walks in, throwing leather usually, Pretorius. Quieter second round, but it almost had to be after that first.
He really exerted an awful lot of energy in that first round. He really had his mind set on that first round stoppage. He's just slowed his work up, just trying to regroup a little bit and have a little think what he's got to do now.
Good, solid jabs by Reid. Circling around the ring, trying to find angles for his punches, but Pretorius, in his own, it's not the most sophisticated of styles, but it's worked for him this far in his career. It would be amazing if he could turn this around after what happened in the opening 2 minutes.
Yes, it really would. There didn't look to be any way he was going to get through that round. He was badly, badly hurt on a few occasions, but he come back at the end of the first round quite well and landed a good punch, which I think hurt Reid. And Reid just hasn't done very little very much in this round.
Certainly been no suggestion thus far in Reid's career that he's got a dodgy chin or anything like that. Good counter off the ropes from Reid with those left hooks. Some of these punches by Pretorius, or a lot of them, not too accurate. And it's Pretorius who's hurt again. Again the legs went.
Yes, again, when they're in close, you get the feeling that the extra strength is Reid's. He's got the extra firepower up close.
It's worth remembering that Pretorius had never ever before weighed more than 11 stone 4.5 for a fight, and here he is in the 12 stone division. You have to underline that twice when you are witnessing the action here, because Reid just has so much more firepower. It looks that way anyway, doesn't it?
Yes, we saw at the end of the round when Pretorius had Reid on the ropes. He was trying to match him for strength, and again Reid come out the boss. He's got that extra advantage, he's got the extra firepower, and I think if Reid just bides his time, just looks for the opening, you'll see that he'll land a good punch.
Much bigger success rate for Reid by a huge margin, 61 to 29%. Better economy.
Here we see Pretorius putting the pressure on. Reid just having to cover up, but I think this is the point where we see that Reid comes out of it the best. He's the stronger puncher in there. You see just that left hook clipped the head, and again the legs looked a little wobbly.
Third round. Britain's Robin Reid in the white trunks, the stripes of the South African Giovanni Pretorius. His trainer Nick Durand has been telling me all week that Pretorius had not come over here to risk his middleweight world ranking without going back with the super middleweight belt. Well, we'll see. He's looking a little bit reddened and marked up around the face. Pretorius, just hints of swelling, no cuts. Still coming forward and catching Reid.
Pretorius is a real rugged fighter, and I think he's going to test Reid's character a little bit with these pushes forward.
Oh, right hand was the best shot in that from Reid. A lot of leather from Pretorius, but he's getting caught by heavy counters.
There's a good right hand in there as well from Reid. I think Reid can just afford to wait for Pretorius coming in and just look to catch him amongst Pretorius' play with his stronger punch.
Oh, again that left hand glancing blow, no more from Robin Reid. The only blot on Reid's record, a draw against Danny Juma. He's blown hot and cold on the build-up before he became a world championship fighter, Reid. A lot of people thought he wasn't ready to be pitched in at this kind of level, but he proved he was against Nardiello. Now he has to try and stay there. It's often the way for a fellow who's been fighting a weight or two down when he comes up against the full-blown version that his punches kind of bounce off a bit.
Yes, it makes such a difference, that extra little bit of weight. When you absorb punches and also when you deliver them, it does make a difference.
Reid covering up well. Just sheer pressure fighting from Pretorius. Good body shots from him there. He's just hoping that this incessant pressure and the continual throwing of the leather will somehow wear down Robin Reid, who's got blood coming from his nose now. Reid with blood from the nose. Nothing much.
Well, this is where Reid's got to stamp his authority again on this fight, because Pretorius will just be starting to get a little more confidence, just starting to roll forward a little bit more and land with his own punches.
Has to be said, the actions evened out a bit after that explosive start from Reid.
Yes, Pretorius is coming forward more and more, he's landing more shots.
Reid did find one particularly good punch in this round there.
Yes, he's still getting through with a cleaner, solider work. You see a lot of Pretorius' punches, he's rolling forward, but see Reid covering up. Very few there connected. Reid got through with a one good one at the end, and I think really that so far the last couple of rounds, that's pretty much been the tide. Pretorius keep coming forward, he's very strong, he's going to test the character of Reid, but Reid's got to land them heavy shots.
Giovanni Pretorius, who like Robin Reid, boxed in the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, but he was beaten in his first bout. Reid won an Olympic Games bronze medal, a very rare Olympic medal for Britain in amateur boxing these days. Reid with his back to you in the white trunks with the stripe down the side, the black and white striped shorts of the challenger, Giovanni Pretorius. Pretorius has done a lot of sparring with Sugar Boy Malinga, the man who beat Nigel Benn a year ago to win this very title. And he's also been working with cruiserweights, the camp tell me, so he should be used to taking the extra power, but it's one thing doing it in the gym and another thing doing it in the ring.
Pretorius certainly fighting true to form. They said he was going to come forward, he was all action, he was really going to be in Reid's face, and he's really living up to that.
Well, toe-to-toe, crowd are enjoying this one. He's a very, very strong, brave man, this Pretorius, and is he just starting, you wonder, to get a foothold in this fight? Reid being forced backwards, covering up quite well. But there's absolutely no doubt Pretorius is well and truly over the opening phase of this fight when he was very, very nearly stopped within a matter of a couple of minutes. Gum shield has come out for Reid. That's why we have an interruption.
Let's go. Time in.
And there was a real attempted haymaker that from Pretorius, who manages a wry smile. Reid starting to look a bit uncomfortable.
He's just starting to look a little bit tired. He's just starting to get hit with more shots. And this is a more confident round for Pretorius, who's starting to land and certainly having the better of this round.
Oh, good countering right from Reid. The left hook, I think, hit the gloves. But the South Africans, non-stop pressure, will be certainly taking the eye of the judges. Not everything's landing, not by a long chalk, but just does not stop throwing them, does he?
They're coming from all angles all the time. A lot of punches going in there. He's obviously trained very, very hard for this fight.
Good uppercut, that one from Pretorius. Class punch.
More and more Pretorius punches are getting through.
Reid has to step this up a bit, because at the moment the South African is stealing the play away from him. This has turned around pretty dramatically from round one. You can feel that the crowd sense that as well. That was Pretorius' round. Meanwhile, Prince Nassim Hamed, whose behaviour earlier on, when we saw him with Adam Smith leaving the hotel, just before he left, here he is getting into the, there it is, the soft-top yellow Porsche. He's more like a rock star, isn't he, than a fighter. You'd never dream, would you, that he was setting off for the biggest night of his life. I mean, his behaviour earlier, it was almost like Clay before that Liston fight, wasn't it?
Yes, really was. Pretorius really coming in the fight now. This was his round. The first round I give him winning. He just outworked Reid. I mean, I don't know where he's got it from. He took a terrible beating in the first round, but he's come on so strong. He's thrown so many punches, and you just get the feeling he's starting to get to Reid a little.
Well, I think this is really evened up now. This is the fifth. The biggest factor at the moment is the work rate of Pretorius. He wants this very, very badly indeed.
And that's how I have it. Reid still a good points lead because of his very good start. But Pretorius, I think the important story, Pretorius just starting to come back into the fight with constant work.
Oh, right hand. That's got Pretorius down. He fell out towards the cameraman on the far side. He'll have to take a mandatory 8 count. That's what Robin Reid needed. exactly what he needed. Just at a point when the South African was threatening to maybe take control, and Reid begins to tee up on him, and this is a rewind of round one. Good body shot again by Reid. Heads coming dangerously close together there. That could easily have opened up a cut in different circumstances.
Reid's landed with that good punch, but he has to up his work rate. He has to keep the pressure on Pretorius.
He's still not recovered from that, I don't think, Pretorius. The legs have gone unsteady again for the South African, who's been on the floor twice. Suddenly looks more tentative. Pretorius again, suddenly he felt how hard Reid can hit, as Nardiello did that night in Milan. It's all right, people saying, well, Nardiello's a bit of a quitter and a faint heart anyway. Robin Reid had to make him quit that night, and he found the punches to do it. Just looks a bit of an injury around the right eye of Pretorius. Not a cut, but starting to swell up a bit and look red.
You've got to admire Pretorius' perseverance. He's such a strong character. He's still trying to come forward, even though he's took very hard punches.
Still trying to tee off. He's hoping that one of those haymakers that have been taking out the light middleweights and middleweights he's been facing will work here for him. He laid Birmingham's Antonio Fernandez cold for 8 minutes when he fought him.
Yes, he has been known as quite a big puncher. Nothing's really hurt Reid yet, but he is throwing a lot of shots.
Bit of damage by the right eye for Pretorius. Nick Durant with the rock star-like hairstyle with his back to you there. He was the man who brought Sugar Boy Malinga over here to dethrone Nigel Benn. Here's a knockdown again, Glenn.
Yes, Reid's just the overhand right. He's a little off balance there, and he just sort of fell straight forward through the ropes. He got up very quickly, looked over his corner. He didn't look unduly hurt. We see it there from another angle. He just was starting to turn away, and Reid caught him on the side of the head and just went over, a little off balance there. You see, mostly on the top of the shoulder, really. I don't think it was a real hurtful blow.
But that will count, I'm sure, as a 10-8 round for Robin Reid. 2-point margin. The rounds are normally scored 10-9. Punches landed so far. Well, Pretorius has landed more, according to the computer. But there's no doubt about one thing. Reid's landed the more effective punches. Just going southpaw for a moment, Reid.
Okay, stop right there.
Still fighting out in the southpaw stance. Trying to confuse Pretorius. He did this, didn't he, for a while against Nardiello.
All right, stop, don't punch, let's break out of there.
Left hand. Just caught Pretorius off balance more than anything.
Yes, Pretorius does have bad balance. He's often wrong-footed, and his feet are very flat, and his balance is bad.
No count. Just counted as a slip, that. Reid there was waving Pretorius into him. He's looking to counter him. Looks a bit tired and laboured himself, though, doesn't he, Reid, now?
He does. He's never gone beyond 8 rounds. So, you know, you could often question, you know, his fitness, and certainly a fight like this will test his character.
Less coming from Pretorius now, and some of his punches just looking as if they've got a bit of an arm nature about them. All the time he's gripping the canvas with his toes, Reid, trying to set himself, make his extra strength and power count.
Okay, hold it right there, hold it.
But he's finding this South African a handful. We kind of thought he might.
Well, we thought with the clash of styles this would be a good fight, and it's certainly living up to that.
Good headshots from Reid. Two of them, and then a body punch as well. You do wonder a little bit about Reid's stamina. He seems to be breathing a little heavy. As Glenn was telling you, he's never been beyond 8 rounds, but then Pretorius has never been beyond 7. So we don't know really about him either in that department.
Let that net go.
Down in the dressing rooms, the next world title fight you're going to see, this is the man, the Celtic warrior, Steve Collins, who faces Frederick Sellier, one of the top Europeans. Collins an 8-1 on favourite. What does he think about the man he faces tonight?
This is a big opportunity for him because, you know, they all want to beat me now because I'm the guy who's beating the so-called greats. I'm, you know, at the top of my game. And Sellier knows that if he beats me, that he's a hero and he's in his own country. And it's a great success for him. And, you know, obviously I'm aware he's thinking that way, so I know he's going to be very determined. But I have what it takes to stop him.
See Steve Collins pretty soon now. He's beaten Ben twice, he's beaten Eubank twice. He holds the WBO version of the world title at this weight, super middleweight. This is the WBC version, and who knows, we may see the winner against Steve Collins before very much longer. Left hand, and that again just bent the knees of Pretorius.
This on numerous occasions, Pretorius' legs have looked unsteady. Again, he falls over, they're just lunging in. Very bad balance, Pretorius.
You just wonder whether Pretorius's tank is starting to run dry a bit. He's looking as if he's just treading treacle at times, Pretorius. He's taken a lot of heavy shots, and they must take their toll, no matter how game and spirited a fighter is, no matter how much character he's got. Again, a good body shot, well picked, that one by Reid. Maybe a comparatively inexperienced as a pro, Robin Reid, but as an amateur he travelled around, fought a lot of top men, and you don't win an Olympic medal for nothing. Switches southpaw again to try and find different angles for the shots. Much less coming from the South African now. Has his resistance been broken, do you think, Glenn?
Well, I think both these fighters are getting tired. It's the fight's moving on. They've thrown an awful lot of punches. It's been a very, very busy fight. Pretorius has took an awful lot, and you just feel, you know, he's got to start and wilt just that little. Reid needs to keep picking up the pace, but he himself looks quite tired.
Left hook hit the gloves, the first one, but the second one landed. Reid's own gloves falling down by his side. A sign of time. There's been a countering right hand. Might conclude the argument here. That may be it in round 7. No way on for the South African. Robin Reid, in his first defence, retains the WBC Super Middleweight Championship with a cracking right hand.
A terrific punch. He really pulled that one out. He was just waiting. Pretorius was getting a little bit wild. He was lunging with his punches. Reid just stepped back, waited for Pretorius to throw the punch and miss, and then came back with a thudding left hand, or is it the right? Oh, terrific punch.
Countering right it was.
Right hand, oh. He really got so much weight into that shot.
Let's hope Pretorius is okay. What a brave fighter. Reid had to work for it, but he's won his bet. He said he'd do it inside 7 rounds. The seconds were running away towards the end of round 7 when he produced a real sledgehammer punch to do it.
The Pretorius was good to his word. He came here and gave a terrific fight, really battled on. He was very, very brave. Here we can see the finish. Pretorius just looking a little unsteady, jabs the head back, Reid just waits, and then that countering right hook. Beautiful punch, really well timed. And there was no way Pretorius was going to get it from that.
It was the third knockdown of the contest. One in the first round, one in the fifth, the final one in the seventh. After 2 minutes and 10 seconds to be exact of the seventh. Good performance by Reid.
Very good performance. I think Pretorius did himself proud. He really came here and worked very hard. He took tremendous shots in the first round, and really, he did not want to lose his unbeaten record. He came to fight, and it was a very good work from Pretorius. But Reid, he's shown himself better and better. I think there's a lot more to see from Robin Reid. I think he's going to get better. He's going to be a real star. He just needs the good fights, a little more time. But that was a terrific performance.
Let's get the official announcement now from Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a time of 2 minutes 10 seconds of round number 7. Our referee in charge, Lou Filippo, stops the contest. He's the winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and still the WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, the Grim Reaper, Robin Reid.
So well done to Robin Reid. He defends his WBC World Super Middleweight title, and waiting backstage, champing at the bit now, the WBO World Champion of some repute, Steve Collins. He's in next for his meeting with Frédéric Sellier from France. Collins is on a roll and will certainly hope to emulate Reid's success.
This is a big opportunity for him because, you know, they all want to beat me now because I'm the guy who's beaten the so-called greats you know, at the top of my game. And Sellier knows that if he beats me, that he's a hero and he's in his own country, and it's a great success for him. And, you know, obviously I'm aware he's thinking that way, so I know he's going to be very determined. But I have what it takes to stop him.
Just final preparations now for Collins. He'll be coming to the ring shortly. I wonder if the word would have reached back there that Robin Reid has won and retained his belt. Barry McGuigan, quick reaction to that performance from Robin Reid?
Yeah, he struggled a bit in the early rounds, but he boxed well and he finished the fight pretty strongly and looked impressive. Great right hand to finish the fight.
Right, we'll look at Robin Reid's work in more detail in just a few moments, but it looks as though he's ready to talk to Ian Darrow.
Cue me. Just tap me. Well, here is Robin Reid, still the WBC Super Middleweight Champion, just getting mopped up here. Robin, that was a heck of a right-hand punch you found to finish the argument in the 7th round there.
Yeah, it was a tough fight. We knew it was going to be tough. I let him know I was there in the first round. I got him with some big punches. I knew that, like, you know, after a bit of time I'd wear him down, and the knockout would come, and there it was at the end, the knockout. I mean, we knew it was a tough cut to me. He took some good punches there, especially after the first round. He looked like he was going to go. I can't remember if it was the second or third round. When did he go down? It's the second now.
First round, then the 5th, then the 7th.
And then, you know, I was catching him all the time with big punches, body punches, punches to the head. Brian and Pat were saying to me, you know, just take your time, keep picking the punches, don't get involved with the fight, because when you get involved with the fight, you end up with thick lips like this, and we don't want that.
The key argument in the lead-up to that fight was that Pretorius had been fighting mainly as a light middleweight and middleweight before. Do you think it was your extra strength that told in the end there? Yeah,
it was the extra strength and the extra power. I mean, you know, you could see from the size difference. You know, it was his choice to come up to super middleweight and face me. I've had 5 or 6 fights at super middleweight. You know, I knew I was stronger than weight. You know, but at the end of the day, he was a big puncher. He thought he could bring it up to super middleweight, and obviously he couldn't. He caught me with some punches, you know, some good punches that maybe I shouldn't have took, but it's my first defence. You know, as you can see there, I've got a lot of grit as well there. You know, I can take a punch and I can also dish them out.
Do you feel that tonight, I mean, you were bringing the title home, there were those who said, well, he might have just got lucky against Nardiello that night, that you had something to prove to the big London crowd here?
That's it, yeah. I mean, I went over and people didn't believe, you know, it was a tough job in Italy. If you know or if you don't know, you go to Italy and you're boxing Italian in his own backyard, especially for the world title. It's not the easiest job in the world, you know what I mean? Like they say, you got to knock them out to get a draw. You know, there was still a lot of doubters out there, and I proved them all wrong again. And maybe in my next fight there'll still be more, and I'll prove them wrong again. You know, I proved tonight, you know, it was a tough fight. You know, I took some punches that maybe I shouldn't have took, but that's proved to the people who say, "Ooh, you know, he's a pretty boy and all the rest of it. Can he take a punch?" Yeah, I can take a punch, and I can dig it, and I can dish him out as well. And I'm going to be here for a long time.
Well done tonight, Robin. Let's turn to Frank Warren. You mentioned next fights there. What's the way ahead, do you think, for Robin Reid now? I mean, is it Henry Wharton, Sugar Boy Malinga next? That's the talk.
Well, he's going to have a mandatory defence, whoever the WBC decides it's going to be against. But he's not having 2 mandatory defences. So it'll be if it's Wharton or it's Malinga, whoever the WBC order. And there is a letter on file saying that he should be fighting Malinga. So that's the direction we'll be looking at.
Do you? I mean, he says he's here to stay. Do you think he is?
I think he's, you know, it was a good, obviously it's a defence of his title. It was a great experience for him again. He got caught with shots he shouldn't have got caught with. He got a bit sloppy at times, but he proved he can dig deep, and as he said, he can dig it out. You know, remember when he turned pro, he was a light middleweight as well. He moved up to super middleweight, so he's got a lot in him, Robin. Don't worry about it. He'll be around, and I thought he'd done an excellent performance at the end of the day. What it's all about is coming out with a belt, and he came out with a belt.
And I bet your mum's in floods of tears again tonight, isn't she?
Mum will be over there, she'll be in floods of tears, but she'll be happy it's all over now. I've kept my defence. I mean, in that fight there, I had to change my tactics. I gave him a good hard first round. Started to take a couple of punches, got carried away with the excitement, and I reverted back to me boxing. So I proved, you know, more than just a big puncher, I can box as well.
Thanks a lot, Robin. Well done.
There are many potential pitfalls for Robin Reid tonight. He's going to go home happy. He has avoided them all. A young star in British boxing and a world champion at the age of 25. Joe Calzaghe is part of our team tonight. Joe, roughly about the same age, at the age of 25. Big hopes in the super middleweight division as well. What did you make of that performance tonight, Joe?
I was pretty impressed with the first round, to be honest. After that, I wasn't impressed at all. Showed a lot of flaws. He got caught too many times against a light middleweight, and if he steps in the ring with me, if he makes any mistakes against me, he's just going to get knocked out.
Well, that's all in the future, isn't it? To be fair to Robin Reid, he has tried very hard this week to persuade us all, Joe, that it's about gathering experience, which is something that you have to do as well. Would you give Reid credit for dogging it out there tonight?
Oh yeah, he showed a lot of that. You know, like I said, I think he got stunned a few times as well. You know, he come back and win the fight, but at the end of the day, it was the weight advantage Reid had over that Pretorius. If that Pretorius was naturally half a stone heavier, who knows, maybe he wouldn't be world champion now. But well done to him.
You wanted him to do well, didn't you?
Of course I want him to do well. I want him for me at the end of the day.
Okay. Barry, what did you make of that performance?
I thought his punching was very impressive. He punched very hard, he looked very strong, and you know, he took control of the fight from the very beginning, went out like a bullet and tried to get the job done. You know, this is the first round here, lands a great right hand, and really he had the guy out on his feet from the very beginning. What surprised me was that he couldn't finish him. He had him on numerous occasions. He hit him with uppercuts, he hit him with clean shots, full-blooded punches. And remember, this guy never weighed any more than 11.4½, so he should really have been able to take him out. And Pretorius was slow-handed. He came back very big heart, very courageous guy. Came back and tried to make as big a fight of it as possible. And Reid, it was just a matter of time before Reid hit him with a clean shot. As I say, he was ponderously slow at times, walked onto some really hectic punches, and Reid landed some really devastating punches in that first round. And, you know, but the guy came back, Pretorius came back and swarmed in, and this is what worried me at this stage. It looked like Reid was in a hell of a fight.
Did you see Reid in trouble at this stage, Joe?
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was puffing a lot, and I think he blew himself out in the first round. And like I said about his limitations, you know, he can't keep that sort of pace up in the first round. Like you've seen, I think he's a one-pace fighter, and he showed that tonight.
All right, but he still kept control of it, Barry.
He did. He snapped back to the control of it. It looked like it was slipping away from him in the third and the fourth round. I had those rounds on even, and Pretorius won the fourth, and Reid snapped it back in the fifth. And this is the fifth round again, where he knocks him down to the ropes there, hits him off the shoulder, and then it looked at this stage like Reid was in trouble too, and then he'd come out with that superb right hand. But let him, you know, don't let him fool you by saying that it was all one-way traffic. It looked worrying at times, and he did make heavy weather, this guy. This guy had such a big heart. You know, I'll take my hat off to him. He was such a courageous guy. But being hit like that, you know, that was the end of it. And really, I thought that particular scenario there could have happened sooner in the fight. However, you know, he still has his belt, and he has retained his you know, position as champion of the world in the WBC. But however, you know, he struggled desperately there.
All right, but all's well that ends well, certainly for Robin Reid, Barry. In a few moments, Steve Collins defending his WBO World Super Middleweight title belt, and then it'll be the top of the bill tonight, Prince Naseem Hamed, a man who attracts boxing supporters of all age groups. They can't all be fitted into the London Arena tonight. Massively popular young man, Hamed, and that means that pubs and clubs throughout the country are full with Naseem Hamed supporters waiting for him to put on a display again tonight. We shall see if he can do that. Our man Rob McCaffrey is at one of these well-populated watering holes in the centre of London, the Sports Cafe. Rob.
Yeah, I tell you what, how delighted they are that Robin Reid won. He's a pal of mine, Robin. I'm thrilled to bits. Two guys who aren't so thrilled, though. Come this way. Two South Africans here. Two South African guys who run the bar. This is like Donald and Craig guys. You must be absolutely distraught.
Devastated.
He fought well, your man, though, didn't he, Pretorius?
First round, I thought he was going to go down, and then he came back. But in the 7th round, the best guy won for sure.
I tell you what, he came back. What do they feed them on down there in South Africa?
Lots of red meat, plenty of red meat, because they come back really strong all the time.
Okay, you've got Baby Jake later on. Maybe you can get one back. Do you think he can win?
Without a doubt, I've got a lot of confidence in him.
You definitely get one back. Okay, that's 1-0 to us. A couple of Brits here who what did you think? Robin Reid did well, didn't he?
I think it's a brilliant fight. Excellent punch, brilliant punch.
And you're from his sort of part of the world, from
the Northwest, yeah. I did proud, you know. I think it's just super. I mean, just super for the Northwest.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he?
He did.
He's done well.
World class.
Right.
He's world class.
There you go. He's on the map.
We'll clean up all night.
And okay, one more, and Nas to follow on later on.
Collins and Nas.
I can't wait for that. Confidence. We got confidence here in the Sports Cafe. We'll see you later on.
Thanks, Rob. Now for one of the best professionals in boxing anywhere in the world, a 6th world title defence tonight for Steve Collins.
Work all the time from Collins. Much more leather. Oh, big right. Down goes Brown. Keels over. That went right to the sole of his boots.
I just don't care. I'm there to do my job, and nothing's going to stop me doing what I have to do.
So after 13 straight wins, is Frederick Sellier the man to prick the ambitions of Steve Collins? We've heard from Joe Calzaghe, super middleweight of the future, no doubt. Nicky Piper's with us, part of our regular team on Sky. Nicky, Steve Collins, are there traps in a fight like this tonight for Collins?
Well, there's always traps for every fighter, and the one thing he's got to be careful and wary of is being overconfident. He needs to be up for this fight. The big fights he's had, but Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, he's really performed well and raised his game. The two he maybe took a little too easy was Colin Discar and Neville Brown. They both give him trouble, and he'll have to be careful of that tonight. He's a good orthodox boxer, Sellier, capable and could well give him trouble, but I think Collins should come through.
Nicky, very strong quotes from Steve Collins in the week. I feel supreme at the present time. My body is made of iron. I feel absolutely at the peak of my powers at the moment. It doesn't sound like a man who's going to throw it all away tonight.
No, that's typical Steve Collins, isn't it? He really is very, very confident. Psychologically, he's probably the strongest fighter I've ever known. If there's anybody that really doesn't need to hype himself up, it's Steve Collins. He's that supreme confidence.
How do you see this fight developing, Barry?
It'll be interesting to see, the one thing that we're assured of, he's a very good professional. He's a consummate professional, is Collins. However, this fight doesn't motivate him the way a fight with someone like Roy Jones will, and the fear is that maybe he's overlooking this guy. I don't think he has, and this is Cellier in the dressing rooms here.
This is a man who's been around, Barry.
Yeah, this guy's a good fighter, and you know, there's no doubt about it. Collins are going to have to jump on this guy right from the very start. And if you look at you know, the two guys and draw a comparison, Collins is remarkably strong and durable and likes to come at you non-stop, and he forces you to fight the way he wants to fight. He drags you in, no matter how good you are on your legs, would never brown you, never try to keep him off and fend him off, but he just sucks you in like a magnet, and you know, makes you fight the way he wants you to fight. Got a good chin, took great you know, great shots from Nigel Benn here, and you know, he does look at times a bit awkward and falls forward and rushes in sometimes and can be made to look bad. However, he's a very strong guy.
Joe, if you were in Frederick Cellier's position tonight, how would you prepare for a job like Collins?
Well, obviously he's going to be extremely fit, because Collins relies a lot on his fitness, obviously. But he has to be careful not to get too involved with Steve Collins, especially early on in the fight, and try and use a bit of boxing ability, because I think he's prone to cut Cellier, as you can see. But
yes, that's true.
I think he's from the opening bell, he can go head on, and well, who knows.
This is a night of champions where the champions certainly are putting themselves on the line, and of course that creates the possibility that a man like Cellier can come through and make a name for himself on the back of the achievements of a world-class fighter like Steve Collins. So no room for a slip-up tonight for Collins, and the London Arena crowd is getting ready for the second of our world title fights. Prince Nassim Hamed to follow the next fight. Steve Collins against Frederick Cellier comes after this break.
You know, after a hard day of fiddling with sticky-back plastic, it's always such a pleasure to have a light supper on the sofa in front of the telly. As I said to myself the other day, Nogsy, nothing goes better with a juicy lamb chop than that Bravo TV channel. By gum, it's great, I'll tell you. Virgin Witch, House of Whipcord, Basket Case 2. I make sure I watch it every night. I have a whale of a time. You will come.
You will fall before him. Listen. You will listen to what he has to say. He will not be defeated. Listen, America. You're too late. He's already here. He is here.
The Talladega Challenge, Alabama. Flat out for 25,000 miles, 140 miles per hour, for 8 days and nights. Nothing got broken, except 40 international long-distance records. The Saab 900, from 15,500 pounds on the road. Saab, beyond the conventional.
Someone is going to pay. I'm offering this money as a reward on your head.